Hey guys, welcome back. Happy late Thanksgiving, happy early Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy everything, happy holidays. That's what they say, right? Happy holidays. So today I'm gonna talk about what I had for Thanksgiving. It was pretty good. Somebody told me, they said everything you eat is always good. And so I think they said that because they watch my videos, and most of my videos I'm like, oh, this is so good. And it's because I kind of know what I like and what I don't like, and you're not going to hear me ever talk about anything like mushrooms, rarely will you hear me talk about mushrooms. So I stay away from things I don't like. So in most of my videos you are going to hear me say it was so good in some type of way, because I know what I like. So anyway, let's go over my menu, what I had for Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna start with the best. Green bean almondine. I will tell you exactly what that is because that was delicious. I had sweet potato casserole. Sweet potato casserole. I had cabbage. I had some vegan cornbread. I had some cauliflower wings. Let me see. Asian zing cauliflower wings. So there's probably a brief pause right here because somebody just called me and messed up my video. They called me twice and I want to make sure nothing was wrong, so I paused the video. But I'm back now. So I have to start back over with what I ate. So I said green bean almondine, cabbage, sweet potato casserole, cornbread, vegan, not vegan, of course vegan, but it was more like Asian zing cauliflower wings and potato salad, maybe like the day before. And maybe that is it. Oh, for dessert I had carrot cake, vegan carrot cake from Whole Foods, of course. Let's start with this green bean almondine. If you don't know what it is, let me tell you. And the name basically tells you what it is. It's just green beans and almonds, basically. So I got this recipe from my friend. She was telling me about it. She cooked it and I was like, okay, that sounds good. I like green beans. And I actually tried it before in the past and it was really good. But this time right here, it was so good that I cooked, after I ate it up, I cooked some more the next day. So it's basically, like I said, green beans and almonds, and I put in some garlic and I put in some butter. And the green beans, the first time I made them, I used canned green beans. This was a while back. And I just used the silver or sliced. I used sliced almonds. And I used sliced almonds this time too. But this time I actually used frozen green beans because I wanted a different texture. And so I kind of asked my friend how she cooked them, and that's what I did, which was I basically got frozen green beans, although she had fresh. You know, I try to do the least amount of work as possible. We're not going to use that L word. We're just going to say I try to be efficient and effective for me, which equals the least amount of work as possible. That's what I like to say that I do. So I got some frozen green beans and I blanched, basically boiled them for a little while, put some salt in there, boiled them. When they got to a certain texture, I pulled the water off of them. And while the green beans are boiling, I actually took my the almonds, the sliced almonds, and I put them in a skillet and I let them saute with butter. So I put the butter in, put the almonds in, let them work around for a little bit. Then I was like, ooh, garlic sounds like a good idea. Let's try that. Got some fresh garlic. Not like I usually would. I don't know where this came from, but I just so happened to have fresh garlic in the refrigerator. So I got some fresh garlic, kind of smashed it up, put it in the skillet with the almonds, swirled everything around, not with my hand of course, but that's kind of what happened. And then when I feel like the almonds got to what I felt like was a good idea, I added in my green beans, and then I added in some more salt. And I'm not like a big salt fan. I just added in some more salt, and I added in a little onion powder and maybe a tiny bit of pepper. like a small tiny bit. You know, I love pepper, but I didn't put a lot in these just because I wanted a different taste. So that's how I cooked them. And when I finished, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Like I could have had that like all day as my only meal. It was just that good. And like I told you, it was so good that I cooked some the next day, because I feel like I started eating them early in the day, and I didn't cook a lot because I didn't know how they were gonna taste. Meaning that like I knew how it was gonna taste, but I didn't know how I was gonna receive it this time. I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna be like, maybe it wasn't as good as the last time or as good as I remember, and I don't want to waste food. This is my head. This is how I'm talking in my head. This is how I sound in my head. This is why I'm talking like this. This is my inner head voice. I don't want to waste that much food, so I'm not gonna cook that much. So, and I can just save that for next time to do whatever I want to do with it. I don't know why I listened to that voice this time, because delicious. Like I said, I cooked some the next day like the very same way, except I had some canned green beans, and I was like, this is so good, I want as much as I can have in this dish. And so I put in like 2 cans of canned green beans and the remainder of the fresh green beans, but I still boil the fresh. When I say fresh, I mean frozen. That's my version of fresh. Frozen. So I still boil the frozen green beans, and then after I boil them, I put them in the skillet with the canned green beans and with the almonds and the butter, and I still did everything the exact same way, and the garlic. And this time I added some more garlic. I added some garlic powder on top of the fresh garlic that was already in there. I don't know what made them so good this time, but they were super delicious. So that was the green bean almondine, which I love the best. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the sweet potato casserole. And I said it's a casserole because it's basically sweet potatoes, and then you add some seasoning, some butter, a type of sugar to it, and then you basically stir it up and it goes in the oven. But what I did was, what did I do? But what I did was, because I was only making a small amount, just like with the green beans, I don't like wasting stuff, so I only made a small amount, and I didn't have a dish that was small enough for me to put it all in there. So what I have is these large size cupcake or muffin glass containers, probably about this big, that I used. And so I was able to use 3 of those, so it wasn't in an actual casserole dish. It was in these glass cupcake muffin type of glass containers that can go in the stove, go in the oven. So that's what I used, and I put it in there. And what I did was I took the sweet potatoes, boiled the sweet potatoes. The amount of time I boiled them, I can't really say. You know, anybody that's like a cook, or like you know, you don't have to be a cook, because I don't call myself a cook, but I know how to get things done. So I did the fork test, and you basically like take a fork, stick it into the sweet potato, and depending on how soft it feel, based on the touch, that'll let you know whether or not it's done or not. So I boiled the potatoes. When I felt like they were done, I took them out and I peeled them. So when I boiled the potatoes, I left the skin on them. So skin on potatoes, boiling them. When they got to a certain temperature, drained the water off, took them out, peeled the potato, and then it was very soft. So I kind of smushed it up. It didn't take long, didn't take much for me to smush it up. I didn't even need a blender to smush it. It was just that soft. So after I did that, I added some vegan butter. I added some cinnamon. I added a tad, tiny bit of nutmeg. I added some coconut sugar and some maple syrup. And I just do like I do for most things, which is just pour some stuff in there with, like, just kind of eye it and then stir it. And if it's something that I don't know how it's going to taste, I just use a little bit. So for the maple syrup and for the coconut sugar, I didn't use that much, because I was like, I don't know if one will be more overpowering than the other one. So I'm only going to use a little bit of those, and then I'll add as needed. And that's what I pretty much did. I added the I added the coconut sugar and I added the maple syrup as needed, and I got it to a point where it was sweet enough for me. I also did that with the cinnamon, where I only put in a tiny amount of cinnamon and I kept adding until it had a good taste and a good flavor for me. Now butter, I was like, I know butter's supposed to go in this dish, and I believe a lot of it's supposed to go in there. So I put maybe like about 1 or 2 good scoops in there of butter, and I was like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. And it was. And so I'm sure I put the stove on something like 350, 375 or somewhere in between. And then I kind of put it in the oven. Ooh, before I did that, I added some crushed pecans and put them on top. I love having, like, as you can see, I had the almonds and now I have pecans. So I like having nuts in my food, depending on what it is. But I feel like it goes on top. I had it before, and most of my family members don't really like it like that, so I never get to have it like that unless I cook it. So since I was cooking it and I'm cooking it for me, I took advantage of it, and I was like, yeah, this was a good idea. The only thing I wish I would have done differently is toasted the pecans and waited a little longer before, well, waited before I put them on top instead of just putting them on top immediately, because I feel like they cooked more than what I wanted them to cook. It was still good though, but I think it cooked longer than what I wanted it to cook. And the nutmeg, again, only a small tiny bit, just because I wasn't 100% sure that it'd go in there. It just seemed like a good idea, and it was a good idea. I put it in there and it was wonderful. What else? Oh yeah, so the cabbage. I've talked about cabbage before. Basically, you cut the cabbage up. I put in vegetable broth since that's what I had. I forgot to use liquid smoke. I forgot to use the vegan Worcestershire sauce. So it was really just the vegetable stock that gave it flavor outside of seasoning. And so I threw in some seasoning, and it was still pretty good though. So I ate them for a few days. And with my cabbage, this was my first time, if I can remember, probably all year that I've had cornbread. Just because with most cornbread instructions online, you need different types of flour, you need the different types of things that I don't have, and I just never wanted to invest in buying multiple flours. I still have this wheat flour in my, I put it in my freezer to keep it fresh because I don't use it that often. So I still have this wheat flour in my freezer from way before the summer, way that I used, and that's the only one I plan on buying until, well, I don't plan on buying any more until that one is used up, and I still have almost a full bag. So I don't plan on buying any more flour in the near future until that's used up. And I don't have room for it because it's not going to get used. Back to the point of the story, people. You know I get off track. So back to the point. Cornbread. I found a boxed cornbread. It's actually Jiffy Mix, but it's vegetarian. And I got it from Walmart. So vegetarian Jiffy Mix cornbread is what I use, and the only thing you have to do is substitute the egg and the milk for whatever you want. So for me, I use almond milk since I already had almond milk, and for egg I use the flax meal. So you basically take some water, you take some flax meal, you put it in a bowl, stir it up, let it sit for about 5 minutes. While that's doing that, you get your other ingredients together. You go ahead and put it in a bowl, measure your milk out, and then you can put it in there. And then by this time, your flax meal should have set at this point. So you're gonna put it in the cornbread. You're gonna stir it up together, and then basically put it in some type of container and put it in the oven. Follow the directions on the box. I believe it was like 400. I put it on 400 for 20 minutes. Wait for it to brown on the outside or the edges of the cornbread. That's what I usually do. And then when it was time, take it out. And then if you like me and you don't want to wait for it to cool off, like, cornbread tastes the best when you first take it out the oven. Like, it's hot. There's something about that experience that you have to taste it when it first come out the oven. I don't mean like 5 minutes, like let it cool and then go back and taste it. No, I mean like as it's hot, you pick it up and then you eat it, like that kind of hot. Like that's when cornbread is the best to me. It's not gonna get any better than that. So yes, that was my cornbread. It was pretty good. I would do it again, not too often, because I don't feel like it's just not one of the core foundational things that I want to eat with my meal, that I want to eat on a regular basis, because it's not like a green or a vegetable or a protein. I don't feel like it's going to add as much value to me and what I'm putting in my body, but on some occasions I think it would be a good idea. So that was the cornbread. Next, the potato salad. Potato salad was pretty good, and I'm sure I've talked about that on a previous video. And basically it's just the way you would make regular potato salad, except I use dill pickle relish, vegan mayonnaise, I use mustard, and that's it. That's the only thing I do with my potato salad. And for me, it's good. It doesn't taste like, it's not going to taste exactly like potato salad, and I think in my mind I have already trained my mind so I don't look for the exact same taste. But based on what I've been eating and what I like for myself, it's pretty good, and so I enjoyed it. And I only made a small amount of that too, because I don't want to have potato salad and sweet potato casserole. So I actually kind of did the potato salad first, and then I ended up eating that up, and then the next day is when I did the sweet potato casserole. So I did have two different types of potatoes on two different type of days. And what else? Oh, and then I had the carrot cake. And this is actually carrot cake that I bought a while back, and then I put it in the freezer, and I took it out maybe like the day before so it could unthaw and so it could get soft. And it still tastes good to me. Like, I feel like it was a good idea. I loved it. Actually, for Christmas, my parents are coming, and so I plan on getting a bigger size carrot cake from Whole Foods, and that's gonna be probably the only thing that everybody's gonna eat that I eat, because everybody else would probably be eating like just regular stuff. They're probably not gonna want to eat what I eat. But yeah, the carrot cake was very good, very delicious, of course, and I feel like that was the only sweets. That was the only sweet that I had. So yeah, that was my Thanksgiving. That's it, guys. So the next one is gonna be Christmas. I'll hopefully try to do a video before Christmas, just to kind of tell you about anything else that I may have missed out, I haven't told you about. But yeah, I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you're having a great day. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with me on this journey. And I will definitely talk to you later. Have a good day.